the director put himself in it in this like small role. He plays the DJ at this like big evening night like gala thing. And he's so funny. He's wearing a pink shirt and we could not take him seriously. It was just like so ridiculous. But there's 2 points in the movie, and I think once in the trailer where you see him like DJing, and of course it's to no music when we're actually filming it, which is even funnier.
Welcome everyone to this exciting interview segment. We are here today with Chelsea Gilson, star of the LMN movie, Get Rich or Die Trying. Join us as we delve into Chelsea's insights into her character and the challenges of filming this movie. Thank you for being here with us, Chelsea.
Hello, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. So, can you describe your character in Get Rich or Die Trying and share what initially drew you to this project?
Sure. So I guess I'll start with what initially drew me. I do work on quite a lot of Lifetime and Hallmark type movies, the made for TV movies. This one I thought was really unique because it had much more of like a mystery and action element. And it was the first one that I've worked on that there wasn't a romantic lead. So there's no love interest, which I found to be like kind of innovative for these movies because it's typically revolving around some kind of love story. Even within the thriller worlds, there's still something. And so it's a really like female centric, all female cast, written by a female. And you really just get this kind of like girl power feeling out of watching it. And I truly felt that making it as well. And it filmed in Massachusetts, out in Northwest Massachusetts. And my family actually lives in Massachusetts. I'm there right now. I'm shooting another movie right now in Boston. But that was another huge selling point for me as well. I just love being back on the East Coast. It's so beautiful. And the film community here is just incredible. It's so strong, so professional. Like it really is. Massachusetts is one of my favorite places to film. So my character is Nick, and she is, I think in her normal life, she would be pretty fun and like a really cool girl to get a beer with. She owns a cafe with her best friend, and she just seems like she'd be down for anything. She's kind of cool, chill, laid back. When her sister goes missing, her world gets flipped upside down. And that's where we open up the story. So anything that could have been cool about Nick is now totally on the wayside, and she has one mission and it's all consuming. So you get to really see kind of like these layers of her relationship with her sister and some things that maybe she regrets or wishes she could have done different in the relationship. And I think that really fuels her as well, as she just has this feeling of, I need to find my sister because I need to make amends and tell her that I love her. And yeah, she uses a lot of skills, there's a ton of action, a ton of stunts and fighting, and she beats up pretty much everyone while wearing heels. So she's pretty badass. I really loved playing her. It was one of my favorite projects that I've worked on that's like this type of movie.
That's amazing. And how did you prepare for this role? And were there any unique methods or research you undertook to embody this character persona?
I would say the stunts fighting was a little bit more of a long beat choreography than I was used to. So we did have a lot of extensive stunts training before the movie. And it was really cool. I come from a little bit of a dance background and I am a stunts actress, but to kind of blend those worlds together. And we had these long count stunt sequences, like a lot of action. So the movie was a little bit more physically demanding. And for that, I made sure that I was in shape, that I stretched, that I worked out, that I was really prepared for that part of it because I knew that I had to be on my A game so nobody got hurt during the stunts. As for the character, I feel like I really clicked in with her right away. Like, I wouldn't say that I necessarily had to do much character work to get into her shoes. It's really easy to think of how if you lost somebody so close to you that you would do anything in your power to get them back. So that kind of aspect of it, she has such a strong motivation in the movie. And while no spoiler, she does lose sight of it for a moment. Pretty much her whole guiding purpose in that movie is to find her sister. And that was like a really strong motive to latch onto.
Great. And about this movie, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced on set, and how did you overcame them during production?
We shot some of the scenes in these old foundries that had been shut down years ago, and they were still open to us. They allowed us to film there, but there was like mold spores and asbestos and all this other stuff. So we had to be very careful in there. So that was just a little challenging. There was like a heightened sense of awareness in filming the scenes in there, and just like a general level of stress on the set for those days that you don't typically feel on these types of movies. Other than that, I would say no real like challenges. I got along with all of the other actors so well. They were so incredible. The director, Todd, had such a detailed, creative, amazing shot list that he wanted to execute. And I really appreciated, he was one of the first directors I've worked with who shared the shot list with me the night before. So I could really see, I direct and work behind the camera too, but so I could really see how it was going to edit like way better in my mind. And it just made me feel really locked in, and that the project felt more collaborative in that way as well.
Oh, great. Can we talk about how did you collaborating with the director and fellow cast members shape the final portrayal of your character?
Yes, of course. So Todd really is like, I mean, now he's become one of my very close friends. I love him so much. He comes from an editing background, and he's also like an award-winning colorist. But so he had already kind of edited the movie in his mind in a lot of ways. So I found it like, there's two types of directors. There's the directors that are working, that want to work with the actors, and it's all about like where the actor's coming from. They don't care about the words on the page. It's kind of like nurturing this like really good acting that you're going to get out of someone. And then there's the director who is all about the cinematography of it. So it's hitting each beat so he can move the camera where he wants. And it's not really about the performance or the delivery as much as it's making sure that it's beautiful and the story gets told within within the camera work. And everybody falls on some spectrum of that. Todd was definitely much more on the spectrum of, I have a beautiful way that I'm going to edit this together. And he did. It was quite beautiful. And but so I found that like sometimes his notes would be like a little difficult to embody. So for instance, in one scene, I've just found something that's given me a clue about where my sister could be, and I've decided to make a plan. So I go tell my best friend that I own the cafe with, and he wanted to open the shot with me leaning against the car talking to her. And I was like, well, if I had that, I couldn't be leaning back. Like I wouldn't be reclined like this. I'd be like, I got to tell you this. So, and he was so receptive to it. And he let me change a lot of the dialogue, as much as I needed. It's not that he wanted it to be word perfect, but it was fun just to see like his justification. And he was always 100% right, but it's just funny as an actor to have to be like, oh, okay, well, I have to see the bigger picture here. So it doesn't matter what my instincts are, because it's going to be a beautiful shot and it's going to pay off in the end.
Great. This movie blends mystery and thriller elements. How did you navigate the balance between intense drama and lighter moments within your role?
I am a full-time actress, and I have really gotten good and perfected the art of jumping in and out of the character, right? So, I can like be having fun on set, and then we start rolling, and it's only a couple beats for me to get back into where we are. Like I really keep it in there. And, this movie, I think in my mind, just gets increasingly more and more and more like intense. So it was a nice build. There are like plenty of like cute, funny moments and sweet moments, and it is a little bit of a roller coaster, but that ride is going like straight up. You're really getting to the climax of the situation. And I think it's just like as an actor, really important for me to always remind myself where I'm coming from and what got me to this point, like what led me into this point. And it's just a few seconds to get in there really before I can kind of like click into the world that I'm in.
Great. And talking about your character again, in what ways did playing this character challenge or expand your own creativity boundaries as an actress?
I think for sure all of the stunts work made me so excited. I love any opportunity that I get to grow within my stunts work because really it's so rewarding and it's so much fun. And I love feeling physically exhausted at the end of a day. Because this movie like really follows my perspective, I didn't have much downtime. I would say I'm pretty much in all of the shots of this movie. It's just really following whatever I'm doing, where I'm going around, the whole premise. So, just like staying in it and trying not to get exhausted and still making time to connect with all of the other actors is always a challenge, but that's like part of the love of the game of making these on like you make them in a really short time frame. And for this movie I actually had like a very hard out for going to my next project. So right when I wrapped, I had to leave and go somewhere else. So it's like we knew we could not extend that. We knew we really had to push ourselves and really bring everything to those first takes because we might not get additional takes.
Amazing. And talking about behind the scene moments, could you share any memorable behind the scene moments or interaction that influenced your performance in this film? Or something funny?
Yeah, I think like all of us girls had so much fun together and we like started making so many inside jokes and having so much fun and like if you took a drink every time that we said sweetheart in this movie, you would be wasted like right away, right? Because like the multi-level marketing scheme that company, they all address each other as sweetheart. So we had started to make a lot of jokes about that. And then we couldn't even like sometimes make eye contact when somebody was like, okay, sweetheart, because it had just gotten so funny. And like, you always get like deliriously tired by the end of these shoot days. So yeah, I feel like most of it was like a lot of inside jokes with everyone on set and just like forming those really close bonds. And, I do so many of these movies, like a lot, and I'm so grateful for it. I have stayed such good friends with the people from this movie. Like I've had dinner with Todd so many times. I just went to go see the writer in her play. I just had my short film that I wrote and directed. I had two of the girls that are in this movie come to the premiere in Beverly Hills. I had one of them come to the premiere of it in the Boston Film Festival. So I feel like that's just a testament to like how tight knit it felt like a sorority by the end of it, and just so fun. Oh, actually, I will say my favorite memory of the whole movie is that the director put himself in it in this like small role. He plays the DJ at this like big evening night like gala thing. And he's so funny. He's wearing a pink shirt and we could not take him seriously. It was just like so ridiculous. But there's two points in the movie, and I think once in the trailer where you see him like DJing, and of course it's to no music when we're actually filming it, which is even funnier. But that's a really fun Easter egg for us.
Amazing, really fun. So, talking about your career in general, change of the subject, looking back at your first on-camera experience, can you share with us what bring the passion for acting for you?
Yeah, I got my start in hosting. So I hosted like travel shows or like daily deals or for local news channels or whatever. And I the transition to go from that because for me, hosting, you're like kind of still playing a character a little bit. And then I like tried out my first acting class and, I like slowly dipped my toes into the water. But I also worked in casting. I still sometimes work in casting and I worked a little bit behind the scenes. And I felt like the more that I was around the industry and the set life and all the little nitty gritty details that goes into making a movie, I just like started to fall in love with the whole creative process. So I wanted to read as many scripts as I could. I started to write scripts. Like I just wanted to be on set. And now, like, maybe 8 years later, I feel like I've been acting for around 8 years, 4 years full time. Now for me, like before it was like I always wanted something I hadn't worked on yet. Like I was like, oh, I haven't played like a lawyer yet, or I haven't done like a comedy like this yet. Like it was always like I wanted to, and I still have some of those. I really want to work on a Western film where I get to horseback ride. But other than that, I feel like now just every project that I get, I just find like what's special about it and I try to hold on to it. So
Yeah.
not necessarily that it's like a new character or a new role, but it's like what can I bring to it that's new? And I find a lot of joy in that like creative process of always like reinventing and finding a new way to look at the sides or the script or even problem solving on set. Like I've grown so comfortable in the world, and I love the smaller projects that are a little collaborative. And I could be like, oh, I have a suggestion. I think if like we moved the camera just like this and we crossed here, we could do a oneer, and then we could just do an insert of this. So it's like now I understand the camera angles, the edits, how to clean up scripts to make them really compact. And the projects that I collaborate on the most end up being the most rewarding for me. So I think that's like really where my career has taken me, is just like this passion of filmmaking in general, instead of just getting my lines, showing up to set, saying them out loud, and then going home.
Yeah, that's amazing. And talking about that, how has your experience as both an actress and a television host contributed to your versatility and approach to new projects?
I think the hosting immediately worked on my improv skills and got me out of this. Like, you have to, if it's live, you have no option but to be, on your toes and fall forward if anything happens. And I think it was just such a valuable skill as like my first entry into the entertainment industry. Um, as I've just like gotten more credits and gotten more opportunity and exposure, like that has all just been like bricks laid on for my confidence when I'm on set. And I think for so many actors starting out, it's just like you have to get over that like hump of being nervous, like the hump of being like you booked the job and you're excited to be there, but you're just like so nervous by the experience. And everyone is there only to make sure that you do a good job and like look good, and it comes out perfect. So you just have to trust the process, but also trust yourself. And I feel really grateful that now, like every job is so wildly different, and I get to like pick up all these skills all of the time. And so before I might have said, I might have been scared to be like, oh, well, no, I'm not a real roller skater. And now I'm like, hell yeah, I can learn to roller skate. Like I can learn to do anything because I have gained so much confidence just in my ability to, yeah, like learn new skills. And I've become like quite addicted to that feeling of expanding. And you probably feel it too. Like hosting is the similar, you are hosting right now, but it's like everybody that you meet and you talk to, it's like it expands you as well, and you might learn something that intrigues you or takes you on to something else in your life. So yeah, just that expansion. And of course the expansion of my network is incredible. Todd from this movie was the one who was the colorist of the movie that I just am sending through the film festival circuit now. So it's like your network gets so big and so vast within the entertainment industry. And that's like such a special part of, choosing this career path, is like you always are working with new people, but then it gets to a point where you start to see the same people, they come around and you start working with the same ones. And it's so great. I'm working on a movie now in Boston, but I worked one day on this TV show shooting in the Cape called Chatham. And it's the third time working with this producer, Michelle Romano. And when I get to set, this really good friend of mine, Adam Huss, was also working on it. And that's like the fifth time I've worked with him. And it's just like the world gets so small. And I love that part of it. it feels like such a community.
Yes. And with a various career you had, what have been some pivotal moments or setbacks that ultimately shaped your success?
I think for me, the first time that I booked a Hallmark movie and I got to go, got to be flown out to Utah and work on it and see how one of the like made for TV sets is run was a huge, amazing learning experience for me. And it ignited some fire in me that I was like, I have to keep working on Christmas movies. They are truly the most fun sets in the entire world. And so I think that was like a really pivotal moment for me was like, I auditioned, I booked something that actually traveled me there. I got to have something that actually showed on TV and it legitimized, or it felt like it legitimized me as an actor. And then I got to work on Hawaii Five-O as a guest star. And that was kind of like the next really big pivotal moment. I had worked on TV shows before. I worked on like Lucifer and I think a few other smaller roles, but this was my first guest star role. And they flew me to Hawaii and I stayed in Hawaii for a week. And I was basically like playing a mermaid who gets killed. And I actually was part of a multi-level marketing scheme. So it's a little similar. But I had like a mermaid tail on and they had a stunt double for me. And I was like just kind of shy at the time in the world. Like I was just happy to be there. So like I even if there was a mistake, I would have just read the mistake, right? Like I was just happy to be there. I would have never spoken up about anything at any point because I didn't understand and know the world that much at this time. But I had a stunt double there for like all these underwater. It was like a synchronized swimming scene in a mermaid tail. And I'm a really advanced swimmer. And I like went over to the producer and like the main stunt coordinator and I was like, hey, can I just do my own stunts for this? And they were like, well, I don't know. And they like talked to a bunch of people about it. And they were like, well, if you can swim back and forth in this like Olympic sized pool without taking a breath with this mermaid tail, then we'll consider like allowing you to do it, but we'll still have your stunt double here. And they let me do it. And that just like, A, gave me so much confidence. B, made the whole project so much more rewarding and so fun. And C, I do underwater stunts all of the time because of that, right? Like I was not a stunts actress until I did that role and it just took me like speaking up on set. And I think that experience really was so pivotal for me because it gave me the confidence to voice my opinions or my wants or desires. Just because in that one instance, I got a yes, So I'm like, oh, well, maybe I could try again. Like, what's the worst that could happen? They say no, it just gave me that like, oh, okay, they said yes. So I think like if there's any takeaway from that is like I truly and firmly believe that you should like speak out loud what you want to happen in your life and tell as many people as you can about your dreams and your goals and the scripts and the projects you want to work on because like you never know and like it's never going to hurt you. It's only going to help align you with people who also want to make your dreams come true.
Yeah, it's inspiring. So, talking about the industry in general, how do you feel the entertainment landscape has evolved over the last decade? And what trends do you think will continue to shape the industry?
I try to stay really positive, and I am so very lucky that I get to be a full-time actress. Like what I model as well, but what a dream, right? Like I get to act, I get to model, I get to fly all over the place and do all these jobs. It is a crazy hustle, and it has become increasingly difficult to do this as like I'd say I'm like a blue collar actor, right? Like I work full time, but I'm not. I mean I'm getting offer only maybe for some of the Lifetime movies, but I'm still like auditioning 6 or 7 times a day, and I think like because so many of the auditions are now online, they can request so many people. I see it because I also work in casting sometimes, like, and we want to cover our butts, so we request a bunch of people to send audition tapes, And then realistically, like we're only going to choose one, and there might already be a favorite before we even ask for the audition tapes. So it's like we're doing as an actor now, because you're not physically going in, you're doing so much more work. You have to have a professional self-tape studio. You have to have somebody that's willing to help you at your disposal. You have to be able to be good at editing your videos together and in time management and staying on top of it. And it's just a lot. And I remember, like, I was lucky enough to start acting before the pandemic. And I remember that I would have a bunch of changes of clothes in my car and I would drive around Los Angeles to different auditions. But I had a much better booking rate because, like, they called me in for Lucifer maybe 7 times before they booked me. But, like, I knew they liked me because they kept calling me in. So I would go in. Oh, hi, how's it been? Like, how was your holiday? Like, you got that face-to-face interaction. And they
Yeah.
had to watch my audition from start to finish because I was in the room and they could only see 15 or 20 people per role because, like, you don't have all the time in the world. So I think, like, the landscape has just changed so much, and it has become so much more competitive because they can ask people all around the world to tape. And it just, like, that part of it feels really daunting to me. It feels like it would be an even scarier time to, like, break into the industry and be seen. My only tip for that, though, is from a casting perspective,
Yeah.
like, I always just like when somebody is really themselves, and if, like, the audition sides or whatever don't fit them, but I see that they're a good actor, like, I remember them for something else. So, I do a good job. I do watch everyone's tapes, but I don't watch them all the way through. I go to, like, I see a little bit and then I move on.
Yeah.
But so, that has, like, really changed everything. And then, of course, like, AI, it has impacted so much and will continue to impact so much of the industry. Los Angeles, the entertainment industry feels like it has really moved from Los Angeles. So, as things change and evolve, like, we can only, see what happens and then try to do what's in our best interest. But it's, in my opinion, like, impossible to predict the landscape. I think when the TV came around, it did not kill theater, right? So AI's here. It's a great tool. Is it going to hurt every part of the industry's, like, ability to make money and work? Like, yeah, for sure, because I think so much will be used by AI. But I don't think it'll ever take away from our desire to see stories, real stories from indie filmmakers or people with just a vision be told in the way that we grew up watching them told. I think, like, the classics still hold up today. We didn't need CGI to fall in love with these movies that are still relevant today. I think the same thing will happen in the future.
Yeah. Talking about your experience, you can share. What advice would you give to emerging actors and hosts who are aiming to break into the competitive world of entertainment?
So I would say that it's really important to take your time on the auditions. And, like, when you get one, like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not take your time in the sense of, like, make sure to, like, do it 100 times until it's perfect. Like, you should trust yourself. And I send in ones with mistakes all the time and still book. You don't need to be, like, so perfect, but just to, like, treat it like a professional job, because that might be your chance that you get seen for something. So every time you get an audition, either confirm or decline, you're going to send it in. And if you confirm, like, send it in on time, do a good job, like, look up the way to set up your self tape in a way where, like, the light is hitting you really nicely. Invest in a ring light so it's not wobbly. And just, like, having that will already help you, because a lot of times from a casting standpoint, like, somebody could be really good, but if I can't hear them well, if the window is behind them or whatever, I cannot pass them on to the client, because if they look unprofessional, I look unprofessional. So just spending the extra time to have, like, a little space that is dedicated to doing an audition, it's uncluttered in your background, that is very important. Once you're on set, the advice that I have always given, and the only reason that I think I'm able to work the way that I do is it's just how likable you are on set. And that doesn't mean make friends with everyone. It means show up on time, be prepared, know your lines, and then you just are happy to be there. Just be grateful to be there. Don't expect anything. If you are supposed to have a trailer and the trailer is not ready and they put you in a room with everyone else, that's okay. If they don't have almond milk for your coffee, like that's okay. If you don't like how they do your makeup or your hair or whatever, do not ever fix it. Just leave it because like you choose the one job that like everyone else chooses what you look like. So doesn't matter if the clothes don't work or you don't like them, like that's okay. Like you're just there for that project. If you don't get along with someone, that's okay. Because if you show up, you're grateful and happy to be there, and you're easy to work with, that is what they will remember. If you're a great actress or an actor, that's just like the cherry on top. It really like that's wonderful and that will help you get work. But if you are not easy to work with, that other thing does not matter. So I think that's like, yeah, you just do everything you can to just, I try to like still stay, like professional on set. Like I make friends with people at lunch, or if I see them when I'm getting coffee, or if we have downtime, then I will be fun and whatever. But yeah, I just respect the set. I try not to, I try to just take in as much as I can, learn as much as I can about what's going on, and just be easy to work with. Like I don't eat meat. I bring my own snacks just in case. Like I'm just easy to work with because that's what people remember. That's what they remember in the industry is the person that was difficult.
Yeah, that's a great advice. And talking about your personal life, are there any mentors or role models who have significantly influenced your approach to both life and creative arts?
Yeah, I have this. I teach yoga as well, not regularly anymore, but this woman that owned the yoga studio that I worked at, she hosts like a daily meditation, and I went to it every day for a year. It's on Zoom, but I used to go in person as well. And I think like she's so spiritually enlightened, and she's taught me so many useful tools about being present, about controlling my breathing, about manifesting, about gratitude and self-love, and like just the bigger picture in life. And that has been so much more valuable, in my opinion, than any mentor that I could have had in the industry. There have been plenty of people that I've worked with who have been like so amazed by, grateful to have in my life that, that I've asked advice for. And that's totally, I'm so grateful for that. But I think like having this other component of this just uh, like inner knowledge of how to stay present in life in general has been really valuable to me when I am doing auditions, when I'm on set. And yeah, and just like filling my life with gratitude. I think that's been more important in a lot of ways.
Last question for today. Can you give us a hint about your upcoming film or television project you are excited about, and what makes these opportunities special for you?
So my film Special Will that I wrote and directed, I also act in it, but I'm just like the conduit for the other characters. That is going through the film festival circuit now, and the project's very dear to my heart. It's a story about an 11-year-old kid with Down syndrome becoming friends with a Vietnam veteran in hospice. And I filmed this at my parents' house. My dad played the Vietnam vet in hospice. He did an amazing job. And we are so honored that we got the world's premiere at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood. We got to go to the Beverly Hills Film Festival for it. We got to go to the Boston International Film Festival for it. And I'm just like so humbled by the experience and just so very proud of this project. I like really poured my heart into it. So I'm excited. I would like to continue down the indie filmmaking path, writing and directing. And other than that, I'm working on a movie now in Boston. I finished tomorrow called The Deponent. It's really fun. It's like a little film noir. And in a couple weeks, I have another Lifetime movie coming out that's really fun and like dark. I think it's called My Sister's Secret or Secret of My Sister or something like that. But I do regularly have movies like that coming out as well. But yeah, I'm grateful for all of the opportunities, and it's been a fun ride so far and excited to see where else it goes.
Amazing. So this is it. Make sure all of you to coach Get Rich or Die Trying on LMN this Friday night. And thank you, Chelsea, to join us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I appreciate your time and your thoughtful sharing. And thank you all for watching. Bye.
Bye.